Good evening, YouTube, or afternoon, wherever you are. Good morning. Hey, this is DJ the Bondsman, just stopping by to holler at y'all, talking about current events and what's going on right now. And haven't been on here in a while, but I'm back on it again. Just wanted to talk a little bit about something that's been in the media for a minute and it's making a lot of waves. Scott Adams, you probably heard Dilbert. Scott Adams and Dilbert. Dilbert, the cartoon that you see in the newspapers. I know don't too many people read newspapers anymore, or more of your older generation. And people that read newspapers usually they read a lot. Older people, you have a few younger people that read the newspaper just for nostalgialistic reasons, or that's who reads it kind of. But 9 times out of 10 is like older people, older men that read the newspaper still and take, I guess, joy in reading it. Or if you're into the stock market, you read the newspaper, especially like maybe Wall Street Journal. People that still read the newspaper and even look at the comics. I really don't know anybody that looks at comics anymore, but you do see them. Most of the time when I'm grabbing the newspaper is usually to clean windows when I'm washing cars in the yard, or if I need newspapers to wrap things. That's usually the only time people even use newspapers now. But you'll see his cartoons in those papers, and it's Dilbert the cartoon. You can look it up. You probably seen it and didn't even know what it was. But Scott Adams, I started listening to him a little while ago on YouTube, probably about a year ago. Didn't listen to him very much, just sporadically. I'll listen to him, just wanted to see what he was talking about, see what was going on, because he was just somebody that popped up into my feed. And then I heard he was the creator of Dilbert, and he just had different takes on things. It wasn't the usual liberal narrative, even though I think he does lean a little bit liberal. I watched him a few times. I maybe made it through 2 shows or 2 of his videos on YouTube, because they're usually around an hour long. And the only reason I didn't keep watching them, I'm just not really a fan. It's dry. It's real dry, and I love listening to people talk, and like even Joe Rogan. I can listen to a 3-hour Joe Rogan show. I can listen to an hour and a half Tim Dillon, Adam Schultz, 85 South. I can listen to. It's a lot of things I can listen to. It's just dry and talking, but his is like just so dry, and I hate to call things boring, but it's just anticlimactic, you know what I'm saying? It just didn't do it for me. I listened to him a couple times. So a few takes I like, a few things I didn't disagree with, but it didn't move the needle for me in any way. Like, he was cool, Dilbert. I guess Scott Adams, he's all right. If I'm just bored and I don't have nothing else to listen to, I may click on him, but more than likely, maybe not. But it just wasn't my brand of. I didn't like him or dislike him. He was I'm just lukewarm on him, it fits the way he looks and his personality. I ain't gonna say his personality on camera. It almost fits the way he looks. He's just like a plain Jane, boring guy. He looks, just assuming he looks like he's a no frills guy. He's gonna buy a plaid shirt and khakis from Target and have him a pair of Reeboks or Nike, plain Jane Reeboks or Nike type guy. Drives a Camry. Ain't nothing wrong with that. He's just like a plain Jane, regular old guy. It just he didn't do anything for me. But he caused a firestorm. He caused a big firestorm this week on his comments. And we are fixing to get into that. So basically, and this is the thing, if you haven't even watched him before, you need to go watch some of his episodes before this even happened. Then go back and watch. Don't listen to what you're hearing, whether it's on right, left, black, white side. don't take the comments for what you're hearing unless you done heard actually what it said. Go back and watch what he was talking about and listen what was going on. But instantly when he made the comments, I already knew what time it was. I already knew what he was talking about before they even got mad and angry. I just want to show you the parallels of everything, and basically what he's doing is calling out the hypocrisy. Because basically what he was talking about was he was going off of statistics. I think it was Rasmussen or it was somebody that did polls with black people in reference to are white people good people, or do they like white people, or is it okay to be white? And over 50% said, no, it's not okay to be white. Okay. And I've already seen this for a long time, and it's been going on for a long time with, I believe, the media and the people who control the media are pushing a anti-white guy narrative, anti-white person narrative, only for their benefit to create a divide. I've said this millions of times. With what they're doing in the media, attacking white people openly, talking about white people this, they're domestic terrorists. They keep on screwing with white people because they want them to pop off and do something crazy, like shoot up something with an AR-15 or something like that. That's what they want them to do. They want them to go out and do something like Timothy McVeigh did back in Oklahoma City bombing. They want to keep pushing this button for them to flip out and do something crazy. This is what the media, the people that control the media, want. They want to keep us divided, but they are always pushing this narrative: white people bad, white people this, white people that, white people this, only to get you inflamed. I think it serves a couple reasons. Only to get black people inflamed, get black people emotional and upset, and it's all to keep you in that victimhood status. So guess what? Election roll around, you better vote for us. You got people like Scott Adams out here and Donald Trump. Same old playbook, the racist playbook. But let me go and get into the comments. He's basically saying, if 50% or over 50% of black people don't view white people favorably, that, hey, why are we around you all? We need to leave. We need to get away from them, because technically black people are a hate group if over 50% of black people view white people unfavorably. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he's saying. He's just being by the book with it. He's just flipping it on his side. So if these people are hate group, we need to get away from it. Here's my stance on it. I really don't care. If that's how he feels, he should be allowed to feel that way. If he doesn't want to be around black people, and he's stating, okay, and this is what he's doing. He's looking by the numbers, okay? He's saying the crime statistics with black people, and he didn't just say black people. He was specifically saying black males, a certain age group, these type of crimes they commit with the violent crimes or whatever. And then if you got polls showing that black people view white people unfavorably, he's basically saying white people in your best interest, you need to get away. That's all he's saying. You need to get away from that group. That's what he's saying. He's saying the quiet part out loud, but people been saying that forever. It's not only white people that say this. And we all know this as black people. 9 times out of 10, first thing, you're in black groups or whatnot, and y'all probably already heard this because there's a million people talking about this on the internet. First thing, when black people get some money or just get a more favorable living situation, first thing they say, I'm moving away from all these N-words. I'm moving away from the hood. I'm moving away from my community, and I'm going with the white folks. Black people been saying that ever since I can remember. When I get some money, we moving with the white folks. Just like my family, for example. My dad he was doing this thing. My mom was college educated, school teacher, and see, it's different between like even up north, East Coast, South. I was from the South, Eastern Arkansas. The Delta is like one of the poorest places in America. If you had a mom that was a school teacher and just say hypothetically a dad that was working at a post office or something, your family probably would be considered like rich to other black people. Because y'all had a house. More likely you don't have a house, 2 vehicles, 2 incomes, wasn't on government assistance. You were considered pretty much rich. My mom was a school teacher, and my dad was working in the factory. And then he opened up. Well, my dad had a number store. He had a head shop back before I was born. I didn't know about this till a few years ago. I just heard it was a record store, but come find out it was a head shop too, where he sold bongs and all type of paraphernalia in the record shop. Then he was in the factory when I was born, working in the factory. Then he quit and he opened up 2 different clothing stores. So my dad was like an entrepreneur type guy, clothing stores, and then he had his own bail bond business. And people considered our family, where I'm from, was pretty much well off. You know what I'm saying? Just 2 functioning parents in a home. And a lot of people's eyes, we were balling. Anybody else that I remember, like, if their parents were living together, especially in the black community, and you had a house and stuff, we were like high on the hog. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the city I grew up in, we were once next step to, like, the largest. We had neighborhoods with the biggest houses. We were one step under that. So our neighborhood was one step over the neighborhood with the biggest houses. So just to put you in perspective, but everybody, just look at all the rappers, look at all the entertainers. When they get money, they move out. They move out of the black community to the white neighborhoods. Even your Black Lives Matter people, the ones that say they love black people so much, stay with the white people. Now, we'll tell you, there are black successful people that grew up like in the hood, that stay in the hood and really try to build it up. It's very few, but there are a few that do that. I can think of 2 people I know in mind, one in Little Rock, one in West Memphis, that stayed like in their community and built it back up, or attempted to build it back up, build homes there, and put a placeholder there. But one of the neighborhoods is getting gentrified anyway, but he stayed there and built a nice, beautiful house. People do it, but it's very rare and seldom. So what he's saying, black folks say the same thing. I'm getting away from these N-words all the time. You say that when I get some money, next place I'm moving, even if you stay in the neighborhood and it start to get a little sketchy, first thing we say is people, hey, I'm going out there moving with the white folks. We say it all the time. I'm getting away from N-words. But when he says it's going to be a problem, and we all know why, but he's basically putting it on. I'm just not doing this I am doing it for my health, but I'm basically doing this because they're saying that being white is not okay. And so being white, I'm leaving. And then with the crime rate in black communities, this is not a good idea. He's just using logic and common sense. Now, I'm going to show you where the BS comes into play. When you got all these so-called black people in the media, on social media, on YouTube, being fake outraged at this. Fake outrage. And it took me a while, but just referring back to the great David Carroll, if you haven't listened to him, if his video still on YouTube, he passed like last year. Man, he was light years away. He been said black folks really don't hate white people. They love white people. Believe it or not, they love white people. And it shows right here with all the people that's angry. Think about it. All the people that's angry at Scott Adams. Just say all the super pro-black people, not some like maybe a Umar or something, but like the super fake Black Lives, especially Black Lives Matter crowd. MSNBC, CNN, black activist types. They are the ones that are highly upset. Fox Soul people upset with Scott Adams. You know why? They don't want white people to leave. They love white folks. That's why they're angry. He said that. They want to be around white people. They want to be accepted by white people. The problem is the difference between like the bootlicks, like your Joanne Reeds, Don Lemons, those type people. They're not fighting racism. They're fighting racism in a different. We got two different views of racism and white supremacy, or solutions. I'd rather say. They want white people, white liberals especially, to accept them as if the way they accept each other. That's the problem. That's why they're so angry, because if they were so pro-black and so about their people, they'll have two reactions. One, they should be jumping up and down, celebrating, saying, hey, he's leaving. This is what all y'all white people need to do. Y'all need to leave and get away from us. Because we're bad people. Leave us alone so we can be by ourselves. We ain't got to worry about y'all white Karens and white police officers and white racists harming us like they always tell you and gentrifying our communities. They're not. They're mad because he's saying he wants to leave, and that's signaling to other white people that it's okay to say this and say this in public without being ridiculed. So they're angry because they don't want them to leave. They love white people. That's the trick. When they show outward anger to like a Scott Adams for saying what he said, they love white people. They don't hate white people. They don't want them to leave. They're the ones that really love white people. And then say like a real pro-black, or just say like the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Or Elijah Muhammad, God rest his soul. Or maybe even Umar probably feels this way. And even this goes on even to your black conservatives. They wouldn't be upset with this man leaving. Because, hey, if he's leaving, all these people leaving, it presents an opportunity to black people. It's just like in a lot of cities where you got, where it's run down, like say Detroit, areas of Chicago, places in Memphis where I'm close to from, and just small black towns where it's just nothing there, or even like a Pine Bluff, Arkansas. It's so much room for opportunity and growth. Buildings for cheap, land for cheap, houses for next to nothing. They left it all there. Moving away from y'all. It's pennies on the dollar to buy it up and to rebuild it. And then we'll sit there and don't do nothing with it. Then when white people start to come regentrify, start to buy homes in the area, start to, you know what time it is when it starts happening, when you start seeing, like, say in an old neighborhood where you got the old big houses, but they were, it's all run down now. It's the hood now. So probably 90% black over there. Take that first white person come over there, build a house, then 2 or 3 houses down, another white person come in. Then they really on a mission when you start seeing white people, like especially white women jogging at 4 o'clock in the morning. And you're like, oh shit, then you start seeing them walking their dogs. Oh yeah, hey, they just claiming their territory when they start moving into the hood to regentrify. I've seen it a million times. They start walking their dogs and running 3, 4 in the morning. Then you start seeing the bikes. Then all of a sudden you're gonna see a little bar. And then when they bring Starbucks or one of their little independent coffee shops, it's a wrap. It's over with. They come, hey, they got a foothold. When they get that coffee shop, it's over. It's over. And then we start complaining. Man, they gentrifying the community. They gentrifying the hood. They moving us out. They kicking us out. Man, we done let y'all have this shit for 20 years, and it's look like a hellhole. It's destroyed. Shit, we finna move back in here and build this shit back up and make some money. I'm tired of staying so far out. You know what I'm saying? I want to move back close to the city where I'm close to everything. And like I said, what Scott Adams says, what he said, we should get away and move out. I don't really think I know he feels that way, but it is what it is. Let that man feel the way he want to feel. You can't change people's feelings or change the way they think. And that's the problem, like I said, with black liberals. Black liberals don't hate white people. They love y'all. That's why they fight so much, talking about racism and white supremacy, because they want y'all to accept them. It's just like having a kid. You had two kids. One was, let's say if a man moves in, a woman has two kids already, then he has a child by his woman. At the end of the day, that man's going to love his child at the end of the day. Or it's going to be a little something more there because that's his child. He might love his stepkids to death, but at the end of the day, they're never going to be treated the same. Never going to be treated 100% the same because it's two different feelings, two different emotions, because these are two different bloodlines. This is my fully bloodline of my wife, and this is a bloodline of my wife and some other person. So it's just natural. You know what I'm saying? And these liberals like a Joy Ann Reid too, they want white people to accept them and pat them on the head and love them just like they love their people. And it's just not going. It's just natural. It's just not going to happen. It ain't racist or nothing. It's just they want to be accepted. That's why they're so angry. They don't want, just like now, white people said, hey, all us finna, since we can't send y'all back or whatever way you think we feel, and we're not gonna send y'all, but we're from here anyway. We're not from Africa. But if the white people say, hey, we all up and moving, we finna move to Canada and we finna move to Europe, and we're going back to Europe and we're going to Canada, and they start moving, it'll be the same reaction from black people. Y'all leaving us here in North America in this hellhole. What are we going to do? They'll be complaining and outraged and kicking and screaming all the way. They'll be catching boats over there with them back. Because they love white people. They don't hate white people. That's where y'all got to get the trick. These folks don't hate white people. They love white people. That's why they want them around. Because usually if they were so pro-black, they'll be cheering and having celebrations that he said they need to leave, and they'll be trying to push y'all to leave too, and push you, go on, leave. But they don't want that. They want the mythical idea of equality, and not even on equality. They want to be treated better. They want that white man, that white woman to treat them better than they treat their own people. You know? And what I see is just a big much to do about nothing. It's way one man feel. If he want to move out and he want to tell his people we need to get away from black people, let him tell him that. That's his opinion. That's right. Don't do that because we say the same thing every time. Only difference, like even with me, I grew up in a white neighborhood all my life. But like even now, I don't want to stay in the hood. I don't want to stay. And one thing I will tell you, being a bail bondsman, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but dirty and nasty and stuff don't have a color on it. I done been in so many houses, white and black, that are just so disgusting and so nasty, you wouldn't sit down in there. It's that disgusting and nasty. Whatever you can think of, like on a movie. If you've seen where zombies live, I done been in homes look like that. Probably the worstest places I've been into are... I've been in terrible black homes and white homes. Just filthy. When I say filthy, one day I'm gonna upload some videos and show y'all, because I got them all on my GoPro camera when we go kicking indoors or looking for people. When I say like you almost want to throw up, and people living in these conditions, like third world conditions in the house, you might not even recognize in the house in a normal neighborhood. And you go in the house and just dog crap in the floor, just toilets not working, just holes in the floor and the walls, roaches, rats everywhere, wide open. I've seen it all, and probably the worst things I've seen probably like in white trailer parks. But I mean, it's no color line on it. I've seen the worst black houses, I've seen the worst white houses. It don't even got nothing to do with nastiness. Well, a lot of it got to do with the violence, you know. And yeah, Scott Adams said a whole bunch, but I mean, he didn't say a whole bunch. He just said something that we all already think. And black folks say this stuff all the time, and they're gonna still say it. They're gonna say it tomorrow. We get to talking. I'm moving out the hood. They might not just go out and say I'm moving with the white folks, but they're moving away from black people. I will tell you that. They're moving away from black people, and about the most they're going to do is maybe buy a house in the hood to rent it out. to make some paper just like everybody else. So don't let these people fool you. Hey, this Scott Adams thing is much ado about nothing because you can't stop it. He's saying that white people been thinking like this, even black people. Anybody with some money thinking about moving away from our people, the poorest ones. Cause like I said, I stay in the neighborhood, a gated community right now, which is probably majority black, and it's a clean, nice neighborhood. I know you don't see that a lot, but like I really do stay in a gated community where it's majority black. Yeah, it's probably 60-40. But it's about economics. It's people that own homes and pay homeowners association fees, and that's the HOA and the homeowners association keeps everything up. You know what I'm saying? But you know it is what it is. But Scott Adams ain't. It's much to do about nothing. It's just people in the media, especially because you want to break. They don't want white people to just start saying this openly and out loud what they've been thinking in their mind, because you just see it with their actions. It ain't about what you say. Just seeing their actions. Like here in Arkansas, a lot of white people are moving to Northwest Arkansas. You got a few black people, but majority of white people are moving to Northwest Arkansas. You know, this is where they want to go. They want to get away from crime. You know, that's really the main thing. They want to get away from the violent crime. But anyway, that's just a video I had to drop on old Scott Adams. Hey, just normal talk. Don't be alarmed. And remember, especially black liberals, when they start talking all that racist stuff and white people are racist, white supremacists, white people are bad and they're inherently bad, and they go into all these depths to break down how white supremacy and white people are inherently bad, blah, 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 blah. Them folks don't hate white people. They love white people. They're employed by white people. They sleep with white people. Like Don Lemon has a white husband. Van Jones has a white wife. These people really love white people. They don't hate white people. It's a facade. You know what I'm saying? But hey, like, share, subscribe. I am going to be dropping some more videos, and I'll holler at y'all a little later on.